Hi, today I'm going to explore how to run ASP.NET Core on CentOS Linux. Recently I was watching the Red Hat Developer Network conference, and one of the announcements made was the launch of ASP.NET Core 1.0 and the commercial support by Red Hat. Now this is a significant announcement for me as a .NET developer, because now I can write applications that can run on Linux and it can be adopted in a wider environments and wider commercial users. In this video, we'll look at how we do that, setting up a sample application as well as the hosting environment using CentOS, and we'll take it step by step. Okay, we'll start by setting up CentOS Linux. So what I've done here is I've got Hyper-V running a vanilla Linux virtual machine. I've already installed things like Apache, webmin, just to get some basic stuff running. Other than that, it's fairly vanilla, and really there's nothing to it. And what I've done is I went to the .NET website, and I'm just going to choose to download .NET Core. Okay, so here we've got the .NET Core, and I can see the platforms that they're supporting. So we've got Windows, and this is the steps of installation. Obviously for this demo I'm doing Linux, so I'm going to choose Linux, CentOS, and they give me already instructions of what to do. So I've got PuTTY window open here, and we're going to go and literally copy paste this, and let's see what happens. So I'm logged in as a user. I do have a CDR rights, and let's go ahead and do this. I'm literally copying and pasting. Cool, yeah, let's do that. Okay, let's move on to the next. This takes a bit of time, so I might forward the video a bit faster. Okay, so that's finished downloading. Let's move on to the next step. And the next step. Okay, that's done. Now that we have completed the installation of .NET Core SDK, I want to move into Visual Studio. So what I have here is Visual Studio 2015 Community Edition Update 3. Now Update 3 have the built-in tools for the .NET Core 1.0 and update the templates that comes with it. So what I've got here is a project created from that template. So if we go to templates, Visual C#, Web, you'll see ASP.NET Core, Web Application.NET Core. This is the template I have used in this sample. This template comes in ready with the values controller, which is a sample controller illustrating how WebAPI is being implemented. What I went and did, I've created a new controller called a product controller to demonstrate some basic use cases around retrieving data from a database. I've used Entity Framework Core 1.0 as well to connect to a database, and my database at the moment contains only one model, which is the product model. So it's very simple object that will create. I'm using code first here, so when Entity Framework initializes for the first time, it will look for the database. Database does not exist. It will create it, and it will create this model for me. I want to keep it simple, nothing really fancy here. I've created a repository that will be able to query the product for me, as well as load by ID and creating a new product. So let's see how this will run on a Windows machine first. I'm going to use IIS Express, which comes installed with .NET. If I choose IIS Express and just hit run, the project will compile and will open up this page for me. And as you can see, it's hitting the values API. That's the default configuration, and it's retrieving the data. Now I'm going to go ahead and call my product API, and you can see I've got nothing because I don't have any records in the product. That's great. Now let's go and do something a little bit more interesting. I want to go and create a new product. The way I will do that is by hitting post onto this API endpoint. Now for me to do that, I'm going to use Fiddler. Now for you guys who's not familiar with Fiddler, Fiddler is a web debugger. Here you go, Fiddler, a web debugger. It helps with debugging all the calls that's happening on your machine over the HTTP stack, web stack, or whatever you like to call it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it to create my product. So for me to do that, first of all, let me run it. I will get the product endpoint, copy that, go to the composer section on Fiddler. I'm going to change that to this, and I'm going to make it a post, because since it's a post endpoint, I'm going to also do this. Content type, application /JSON, and I'm going to send it the JSON. Now, just for reference, the JSON object that I need to send, it needs to represent my product model. Okay, so I've got name. I'm going to call it test product 1, and price, which is a decimal. Let's call it $12.95. Give it a description. JSON test product, and I will make sure it's active. So is active would be true. Let's go ahead and hit the endpoint. Okay, I've got a result of 200. So if you double click here, you'll see that we sent it this JSON payload, and we received 200 OK, which is great, which means the endpoint have executed our request, and everything's okay. Okay, so we just had that method there. So now, theoretically, if I go and do a get on it, I should see at least one product. All right, so let's go back to website. We'll go run, and you can see that I've received my one product. If we do the same thing in Fiddler, we will get a slightly better view of that. So I'll just do a get. I'll leave everything as it is. Let's go get. And you notice that JSON have identified as a JSON result. Double click on that. You can see my result here is in JSON format. If I go raw, you can see that how it looks like. Okay, so that was a very simple demonstration. This was done on IIS on a Windows machine. The next step is to take this code and publish it into our Linux endpoint, our Linux host, and wire up Apache to surface that API for us. Okay, so now let's take this sample project and publish it onto our CentOS VM. The first thing I'm going to do is publish the project. Now I've got my publish settings set to local, which basically local folder is going to go to bin release publish output. So I'm going to basically hit publish. It's going to compile the application, package all the dependencies and output them to that publish folder. Okay, so here we go, that's done. Just going to open this location the simplest way, so to go right click, open folder in File Explorer, as you can see here, bin, release, publish output, and this is the output that was produced. Notice I produced this output on a Windows machine inside Visual Studio. Okay, now I need to take this into my Linux VM, and the way we're going to do that is I'm going to use FileZilla. I FTP'd to the VM under my user account. Let's go ahead and create a directory. I'm going to call it API, and I'm going to go and copy this output. Okay, that was done. That was quick. Now that we have all our files published to our VM that we just did, I logged in, I cd'd to the API. So let's just go ls-la. Sorry. There we go. Now that we have all the files here. Okay. Now to get this running, I'm going to need to use the .NET CLI command lines. And the one I'm actually after is .NET command line, right? So if I click this or hit enter on this, you can see that the usage, I need to put a common option, path to application as an option. The specific command that I'm after is .NET, and I want to specify the entry DLL for my application. And I know it's going to be demo API.dll, so which is this guy right here. Okay, so if I go .NET demo API, so I think it's case sensitive, demo API.dll. And as you can see, by doing this, what it did is it ran. It's telling me that it's a production environment, a hosting environment, the current route or where it is. Now it's listening on localhost 5000. Okay, and now it's actually running. If I'm going to try to head it from my desktop machine onto this endpoint, it will not work because I don't have that exposed for the firewall so that I can actually call it. The next step in the process is for me to create an Apache reverse proxy and map a URL to this location. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, as you can see, I closed or shut down the endpoint in preparation to configure Apache to reverse proxy to this. Now, I just want to confirm that Apache is up and running on that machine. And as you can see, going to the IP address, Apache is up and running. So I've got no problem there. My aim is to add something like this, right? API to be reverse proxy to this process. Okay, so let's just go and do that. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is I'll create a config file. I'm going to call it .NET config. Okay, I've done some homework on how to create an Apache proxy. I'm just going to copy that here. Okay, so what I would like to do is I would like to have an alias of /API that will forward to localhost 5000 API. Alright, we're going to do the same thing down here. Okay, that's really about it. I'm just going to save the file and exit. Then I'm going to restart the Apache process. Okay, so that's restarted. Let's see what happens now. Previously we had 404 not found. Now if I go service unavailable. Okay, great. The next step is I am going to start the .NET process. So I'm still here on the API where I was. I'm going to go .NET demo.dll. Sorry, I need to actually run it as an actual background job. So let's go and add that. So now I have a job ID or process ID, and it's running in the background on that port. Now I'm going to go bring the browser again, hit refresh. I still have that problem. Now that took me a little bit of time to figure out what it was. It's a default setting that Apache cannot be used over a network connection. So I've got this, found out this command here that can help me with that. Okay, so HTTPD can network connect. And let's go. So now I've set that setting for Apache to allow that connection. I'm gonna refresh, and you can see something happened here. So my call, it did route to my .NET process, and it actually returned 404. Okay, so if I did what I did previously, here we go. It queried my database and it returned my products. Awesome. So now let's go and do the same thing in Fiddler. So I'm just going to copy that, go to Fiddler. I'm going to go and paste it here, and let's see. There we go. Look at that. So it's exactly the same the experience of what we had in under Windows, except this time it's running on a Linux machine with Apache reverse proxying to it, straight alongside any other any other Java or Linux processes exposing APIs. I want to do one more demo, which is creating a product. So I'm going to go this time and go, Linux test product on Linux, and this time I'm going to make it 1595. There we go. We got 200. You can see what's happening behind me. The logs is being outputted onto the console, and now I'm just going to go and do a git on that, and we should get 2 products. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. What we've seen today is I've written a code in .NET on a Windows machine. I've literally published it and copied it to my Linux VM. I configured Apache as a reverse proxy to the process. I ran the .NET process, and voila, I have my .NET API running on my Linux box. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, don't forget to leave me a comment or ask me for any questions down below. Cheers.